Hello, I'm Melissa Vance, President and CEO of the Wayne County Area Chamber of Commerce. We all know that first impressions are extremely important. And when it comes to our community, first impressions are everything. It matters with visitors and whether they come back again, and it certainly matters when we're trying to recruit new people to come live here, and we greatly appreciate your part in this project, making our main corridors beautiful so those first impressions are exactly what we want them to be.
Hello, I'm Andy Frame, owner of Frame's Lawn Care here in Richmond. We'd like to thank you for volunteering to help clean up the city in our efforts for beautification. I'm here today to kind of discuss with you the tips and tricks on how we can get that accomplished. First and foremost is safety gear. It's very important when you're using chemicals, using power equipment, that you protect yourself and protect others. Here we have hearing protection, eye protection, we have gloves, and with the weed eaters as well, sometimes when you're trimming along curbs, there could be rocks. In that situation, you may want to wear an actual face shield. When dealing with chemicals as well, you're going to want to use actual safety goggles, not safety glasses. You need to have some that actually cover the sides of your eyes, just in the event of a splash. Also in doing that, all herbicides have labels. Make sure you guys read the labels and are mixing correctly. And we can also add, here we have Roundup, which is, everybody knows what Roundup pretty much is and what it does. But you can take it a step further and add a surfactant, which is in a way kind of a herbicide glue, and it kind of just aids in how well it works. As far as when we would want to apply these herbicides, we must apply them during the growing season. And we want to do it in a way that we're spraying before the weeds get too large. Once they get too large, they can be hard to kill. They can be hard to cut down, and then you have a mess to clean up. So ideally, you want to stay on top of this, when they're 6 inches or less. And I would say probably at the frequency of 4 to 6 weeks. So that kind of covers the actual herbicide part of it. So let's move to the power equipment aspect. The number one tool you're probably going to be using is a weed eater, also known as a weed trimmer, which we have here on display as well. And they are a great tool for cutting and whipping weeds, cleaning up curbs, cleaning up edges, basically just clearing up overgrowth. But with doing that, like I mentioned, they can throw projectiles, they can throw grass everywhere, all kinds of stuff. So just make sure you're prepared. And then also one thing to keep in mind too is you're not just protecting yourself and others. We're going to be working on roadways. There's going to be vehicles, buildings, windows, so make sure you're doing it in a way that's not, throwing projectiles and actually causing damage. Another thing we can talk about is cleanup. So once we get, we've got it sprayed, we've returned probably about 7 to 14 days later once we get a complete kill of the root. We get everything cut down, and then now we need to clean it up. So we're going to need to use our backpack blower down here. We also have rakes, shovels, and if needed, we also have trash bags. You can make small piles, clean up. That way we don't leave dead vegetation laying in the road. In reference to the power equipment as well, most of the power equipment that you're going to find is 2-stroke, which requires a mixture of gasoline and oil. We typically run ours at 100 to 1, depends on the brand of oil you use. Just make sure you're using it at the proper recommendation. Another thing I might want to touch on is quality of trimmer string. That's very crucial, especially when you get in some of the thicker stuff. That's not something you want to go cheap on. You want to have good quality string that's going to last. Another thing I'd like to touch on too is how to operate the power equipment. We have 2 manuals here for our blowers and our trimmers. You don't necessarily have to read the entire manual, but make sure you understand the basic operation of the tool. How to start it, how to use it, how to shut it off. And if you do have a slight issue, what that issue may be so you can correct it and get back to work. We have several options for applying our herbicides. We have a backpack sprayer here, and this is great. You can just literally walk around. It holds about 4 gallons, and this really goes very far. For maybe some of the bigger parking lots, roadways, stuff of that nature, you may choose a ride-on sprayer, which can obviously holds a lot more volume and can get a lot done, in quick order. When spraying herbicide, it's also good to make sure you have long pants, long sleeves, rubber gloves, and safety glasses. This is very important because we do not want to get this onto our skin. We also do not want to spray anytime the wind's going to be higher than 10 miles an hour. Reason being is we don't want the product to blow onto its unintended target. So we don't want to kill bushes, we don't want to kill flowers, we just want to kill the target weeds. Another thing I'd like to stress is the importance of hearing protection. When we're out here for hours on end with the loud equipment that we operate, hearing loss can be a factor. So we want to make sure to protect our ears, protect our eyes, protect our skin, and protect the other people around us. We're out working in the heat. Stay hydrated. I can't stress how important that is. Make sure you guys are keeping, hydrated through the day. If you start to feel ill or feel dizzy, sit down, take a break. Because as we know, you guys are volunteering. We appreciate everything you're doing. The last thing we want to do is, for somebody to get hurt. Thanks again for joining me today. We really appreciate your efforts and volunteering to help with the beautification of Richmond. If you guys do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. Or there's several publications online, especially through Purdue, that can really give you guys some insight on weed control and proper techniques aside from what we discussed today.